Commander-in-Chief, Gold Medal of Merit in citation awarded to Senator Thomas R. Carper, United States Senate, Delaware, in recognition of his exemplary service and unwavering dedication to the welfare of our nation's veterans and their families. Senator Thomas R. Carper, life member of VFW Post 3420, has distinguished himself through a lifetime of commitment to the principles of duty, honor, and service. Having served 23 years in the United States Navy and Naval Reserves, he embodies the selflessness and sacrifice synonymous with the finest traditions of our armed forces. As the last Vietnam veteran still serving in the Senate and member of the Senate Veterans Job Caucus, Senator Carper has tirelessly championed the cause of veterans' rights and well-being. His advocacy for improving veterans' access to health care, ensuring timely processing of claims, advancing efforts to reduce unemployment rates for veterans, and supporting initiatives such as the post-9/11 GI Bill reflect his profound understanding of the challenges faced by those who have served our country with valor and distinction. His legislative initiatives, including the Federal Firefighter Cancer Detection and Prevention Act of 2023, and co-sponsorship of key bills such as the GUARD VA Benefits Act and Dust-Off Crews of the Vietnam War Congressional Gold Medal Act, underscore his unwavering commitment to ensuring the well-being and rights of our service members and veterans. His steadfast belief that as Americans, we have a sacred obligation to our veterans and their families that include a responsibility to ensure that our returning heroes have the resources and opportunities they need when they arrive home, serves as a guiding principle in his advocacy and leadership. Senator Carper's outstanding contributions to the welfare of our nation's veterans and his enduring dedication to their service and sacrifice has justly earned him the highest level of admiration, respect, and gratitude of the veterans of foreign wars of the United States. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands in the official seal of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States this 29th day of July, 2024, signed by Dwayne Sarmiento, Commander-in-Chief, and Dan West, Adjutant General.
Good morning. Anybody here ever been to Delaware? I mean, not just drive through and pay the toll, not just avoid paying a sales tax, going to one of the finest five-star beaches in the country, maybe getting your health care from the VA facility in Ellesmere, Delaware. Have you ever been there? Come here, tell them.
Yes, I get health care at VA in Ellesmere, Delaware. It's one of the best facilities in the country, sir.
There you go. All right. We got some folks over here from Delaware, and I'm going to ask them to stand up and take a bow, if you would. Come on, guys, stand up and take a bow, please. I actually think I have some names here. Mark Garduno, Bill Wood, Tom Dioro, Russ Hall, John Merrill, Steve McGuire, and I see some women over there too. Let's hear it for the women. I mentioned that the healthcare center that Dwayne takes advantage of, and along with a lot of other people in PA, New Jersey, and Delaware. But when I first got out of the Navy at the end of the Vietnam War, moved to Delaware to get an MBA and hook up with the Reserve Squadron at Willow Cove Naval Air Station. But at that time, we had no facilities for women. We had a lot of Vietnam women veterans, a lot of other veterans that are women, but they didn't get any health care from the same places Dwayne and I have gotten health care for many, many years. That's changed. That has changed. Let's hear it for the women who didn't get the credit and didn't get the care that they deserved all those years. Let's hear it for them. Some of you know, some of you don't know, but I want to mention it. Delaware was the first colony to ratify the Constitution. And before any other of the 13 colonies ratified the Constitution, Delaware did. And Delaware became the first state as a result. And I'm going to ask, for those who are able to stand up right now. Stand up. Just stand up where you are. Stand up and reach over the person on either side of you. Take their hand. Seriously, stand up. Stand up. We're going to repeat the oath that we took all those years ago when we signed on with Uncle Sam and agreed to serve our country. And I'm going to say these words, and I want you to repeat after me. Are you ready? Are you ready? All right, here we go. We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, establish domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America forever and ever and ever. I just added that part. Good job. Have a seat. I want to thank you for the honor bestowed upon me today. I'm happy to be here with my colleague in the U.S. Senate and Rand Paul, but I just want to say the honor that you bestowed upon me is undeserved but not unappreciated. Some people asked me earlier backstage, they said, was I born in Delaware? I was not born in Delaware. My sister and I were born in West Virginia. Do we have anybody here from West Virginia, the Mountain State? Yes, we do. Got a Beckley boy up here. My sister and I were born in Beckley, and we didn't have much. It's a coal mining town. Hard work, deep faith, the understanding we all have the obligation to serve our country. Our father was a chief petty officer in the Navy in World War II and later. All right. He was a chief petty officer in the Navy and later in Korea. And all my uncles served in World War II or Korea. My mom's youngest brother, Bob, was killed in a kamikaze attack on his aircraft carrier in the Pacific Ocean. At the age of 19, there's a great, bigger-than-life picture of him on the wall in my office in Washington. He is my all-time hero. But he died at the age of 19. They never recovered his body. My grandmother is Gold Star mother. Put your hands together for all the Gold Star moms here and across the country. One evening, my dad used the GI Bill after World War II to become a body repairman at Burleson Oldsmobile in Beckley, West Virginia. And later, I sort of worked off of that and became a claims adjuster for nationwide insurance. And my father, one night he came home for supper in West Virginia. He said to my sister and me, he said to us, we were like in, I don't know, third, fourth grade. He said, your mother and I want you to go to college. And we said, well, we want to go to college, Dad. We were like, I don't know, 8 or 9. And they said, and we expect you to figure out how to pay for it. We said, really? And he said, really? And from that day forward, I started thinking, how am I going to go to college? I don't have any money. And fortunately, I learned about something called Civil Air Patrol. Anybody ever been in Civil Air Patrol? Well, we have. Got to be a Civil Air Patrol cadet. And later, I was fortunate enough to get a Navy scholarship, Navy Buster scholarship, and became a midshipman at Ohio State, and later on a Naval Flight Officer, P-3 Aircraft Mission Commander for many, many years. My homeroom, anybody remember being in homeroom and school only made announcements in the homeroom? But when I was a senior, I just missed out on the ability to go to the Air Force Academy. Missed the cutoff day, and I thought, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I found out about ROTC. I could barely spell ROTC, and I learned that it was a scholarship program. You could be in the Navy, learn how to fly. And I said, sign me up. And my guidance counselor said, it's not that easy. And I did all the things I had to do, took tests and got physicals and so forth. I graduated, went off to Ohio State and graduated from Ohio State in 1968, right at the height of the Vietnam War. If you're a Vietnam veteran, stand up again. Vietnam veteran, just stand up again. Take our applause. Come on, let's hear it for him. I graduated in 68, headed off to join my squadron the next week, and then after that headed off to join my squadron in Southeast Asia 3 times during the Vietnam War. My squadron was led by some outstanding officers in the Navy world. The commanding officer of a P3 squadron is a commander. And I was fortunate to have 3 commanders during the time I was with VP40. 2 of the 3 became admirals, if you can believe that. They were my role models. They were the people who guided me and taught me a whole lot about leadership. And the last year that I was with my squadron, we won the Battle E for Excellence. The Battle E for Excellence. I don't know if you've ever been on a ship or submarine or aircraft carrier or a squadron. The Battle E for Excellence is about as good as you can get. Let's give VP40 a round of applause. Okay, put your hands together, please. After 5 years of service, I said, I want to get an MBA. And I moved from California to Newark, Delaware, the University of Delaware, and signed up. And before I had been there for like a week, I learned that I could take my DD-214, like a bunch of you did, and I could take it and go to a VA facility and see what kind of health care I was eligible for. And I drove up Route 2 to Ellesmere, Delaware, to the VA facility, presented my DD-214. They said I was eligible for some dental benefits, and so I received them from a guy named Jerry Kayada. Jerry Kayada was a newly minted dentist, and he gave me dental care for a couple of weeks, and then I finally used all the dental care I needed. And I was about to say goodbye and thank him, and he said, if I were you, I would go someplace else for your health care. I said, really? He said, yeah, I go someplace else. The morale here is bad. The quality of care is not good. You can do better than this, and you should. And I thought to myself, somebody should do something to change that. At this facility and every other one in the country. Today, that same facility where Dwayne gets his care, and I get mine, and a lot of other people do, is a role model for healthcare delivery in the VA system across America. They are the gold standard there. We have CBOCs in Delaware in every community-based outpatient clinic in every county in my state. We have cemeteries up and down the state, veteran cemeteries. We never had a cemetery before that. We have we have a Vietnam a veterans home. We just opened about a month ago a dental clinic there for veterans all over the state. So we have actually taken some unhappiness that came from my first treatment by the VA, and we've transformed that to make our healthcare delivery system by the VA something we can be proud of, and you can be proud of it too. Go ahead. Go ahead. Who knows, you might be like Dwayne someday. Driving up I-95 and say, I need some healthcare. You can get off 95 in Delaware after you pay the toll. And go to Ellesmere and get the healthcare there. Let me, before I conclude, let me just say that throughout my years in the Senate, there have been quite a few of them, I have worked with Democrats and Republicans. One of my favorite things is bipartisan solutions is lasting solutions. Think about that. Bipartisan solutions is lasting solutions. Let me hear you say that. Bipartisan solutions is lasting solutions. There you go. And as we work across the aisle, and when we do that, we can do amazing things. We did it when passing the PACT Act a couple of months ago, signed into law by President Biden, and now we're implementing it all over the country. There's something else that's called the 90-10 loophole. As many of you may know, this loophole allowed bad actors in the for-profit college sector to take advantage of our veterans' hard-earned GI benefits. Millions of military and veteran students use their hard-earned education benefits at a variety of educational institutions, including types of trade and vocational schools. And my own dad, World War II veteran, used to in the original GI Bill. Unfortunately, we've seen some poor outcomes for our veterans and for taxpayers from the bad actors in the for-profit college sector, and I knew we had to act. Our one veteran misled or mistreated is one too many, and I was proud that my Senate colleagues came together unanimously to pass the amendment that Senator Jerry Moran, a Republican, I'm a Democrat, he's a Republican from Kansas. Remember that I said earlier, bipartisan solutions are lasting solutions? And he and I work together on a lot of stuff. I work with your senator here as well. Anyway, we offered an amendment with Jerry Moran to close the loophole once and for all. In closing, I want to mention 2 words: claim sharks. Claim sharks. How many of you have heard that term before? Claim sharks. Well, if you haven't, you're going to hear a lot more. But I've worked much of my career to make sure that our VA health care system, including our community-based outpatient clinics, provide first-class health care to our veterans, including female veterans. And I've also worked to protect these benefits from bad actors who try to take advantage of our veterans. That's why just last week, I co-hosted our annual Veteran Summit in Delaware with Senator Chris Coons, Representative Lisa von Rochester, the Secretary of the VA, the Secretary of the whole VA operation in our country is there, in order to raise awareness of the deceptive marketing tactics employed by those we know as claim sharks. Claim sharks who are these claim sharks? Let me just tell you, because they're a huge pain in the rear, and worse. But they are unaccredited liars. They are consultants who try to take advantage of vulnerable veterans by offering to help them file claims with the Veteran Benefits Administration, and then go on to take a significant percentage of the benefits that the veteran should receive. But because of the claim sharks, they don't get it. These predatory claim companies charge exorbitant fees for veterans services provided free of charge by veterans service organizations like you, like the Veterans of Foreign War. At the summit last week, we spoke with dozens of veterans about the free resources available to them through the VA to help them avoid falling for scams and ensure that they know the full range of benefits to which they are entitled, a number of which come with the help of you and the VFW. Let me close with this. Throughout my years in the Senate, I have worked to deliver on the kind of promise that I've just made, and we'll leave it at that. Let me close with this. Leaders are humble, not haughty. Leaders have the heart of a servant. They understand that their job is to serve, not be served. Leaders have the courage to stay out of step when everyone else is marching to their own tune. Leaders unite, not divide. They build bridges, not walls. Leaders surround themselves with the best people they can find. When a team does well, the leader gives the credit to the team. When a team falls short, the leader takes the blame. Leaders don't build themselves up by taking others down. Leaders are aspirational. They appeal to people's better angels. A fellow named Camus, a Frenchman named Camus, once said that leaders are purveyors of hope. Leaders always seek to do what is right, not what is expedient or easy. They focus on excellence in everything they do. If it's not perfect, they say, let's make it better. And leaders treat other people the way they want to be treated. And finally, when leaders know they're right, they never give up. For all of you that are part of the VFW here in Delaware and across the country, thank you for being that kind of leader for our country now and the years to come for a long, long time. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Come and see us in Delaware. Bring your DD 214, and you can.
Don't start. We got a long morning. You know I can't stop. I got to move back. Woo! Woo! See, you got me started. Since 1979, America has enjoyed a robust, unofficial relationship with the people of the Republic of China on Taiwan. Signed by then President Jimmy Carter, the Taiwan Relations Act continues to allow the United States and the Republic of China on Taiwan to maintain the exchange of ideas and commerce, as well as shores up the U.S. commitment to assisting Taiwan maintain its ability to defend itself. This people-to-people relationship is reflected throughout both societies in all aspects of life, from sister cities to student exchanges, to industry partnerships, and even the two nations' abiding commitment to care for their veterans. The Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States is proud of its continued special relationship with Taiwan's Veterans Affairs Council, a bond that coincides with our long-lasting, standing national resolution supporting the Republic of China on Taiwan. Now, it is my great privilege to welcome to our 125th National Convention a man who has selflessly served his country for the last 4 decades. He is a graduate of the Air Force Academy of 1983, an alumnus of the National Defense University, and earned his Master of Science in Technology Engineering Management degree from George Washington University in Washington, D.C. During his time at the Veterans Affairs Council, he has served numerous positions of increased scope and responsibility to include Senior Inspector, Senior Executive Officer, Deputy Department Director, and Department Director. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a warm welcome to Vice Minister of Taiwan's Veterans Affairs Council, Vice Minister Wu Chi-yang.
Good morning, Commander-in-Chief, distinguished guests, and all heroes and heroines. I'm honored to be here on behalf of my Minister, Veterans Affairs Council, Republic of China, Taiwan, attending your 125th National Convention in this beautiful city, Louisville, Kentucky. The Taiwan Relation Act has come into force since 1979 and marked its 45th anniversary this year. The act served as a cornerstone of Taiwan-US relations and offers a clear guideline for formulating and developing U.S. policy toward Taiwan. These policies are crucial to Taiwan's regional security, peace, and prosperity. Taiwan and the U.S. has strengthened the security partnership recent years. We expect this partnership will be closer and stronger in the coming future. Of course, we will not forget, we have to count on ourselves. Taiwan will actively promote defense autonomy, demonstrating our determination for self-defense in facing of threat from China. Right this moment, I would like to express my gratitude for VFW's long-term standing support of my country over the years, especially for passing the resolutions supporting Taiwan at the International Convention. This valuable friendship will be kept always in our mind. Once again, thank you very much for having me here. I wish you a very successful convention and happiness and health. At the end, I would like to present Commander-in-Chief Yuen Sarmiento with the first class Medal of Honor of Veterans Affairs Council in recognizing of his dedication to maintain the friendship between our countries and promoting the international justice and File of Veterans. Colonel Wang, will you announce the dissertation for us? Thank you.
Certificate of award to accompany the presentation of the Medal of Honor of Veterans Affairs Council to Mr. Dwayne Sarmiento, Commander-in-Chief of Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States of America, in recognition of his dedication in upholding the international justice and safeguarding the international status of the Republic of China, and improving the welfare of veterans. A Medal of Honor of Veterans Affairs Council, First Class, is hereby awarded on this 29th day of July, 2024. General Yan Defa, Minister, Veterans Affairs Council, Republic of China.
Each year, VFW and auxiliary members are welcomed into cities across the nation to conduct the organization's business. This year, we are immensely grateful for the hospitality government representatives, businesses, and community leaders here in Louisville and across the state of Kentucky have shown us. Today, we have the privilege of hearing from an individual currently holding the highest office in the state. As the 63rd governor and 50th Attorney General of Kentucky, he's established track record of serving Kentuckians in pursuit of greater good. Throughout his tenure as governor, he has made the military and veteran population a priority through initiatives such as funding the new Bowling Green Veterans Center, mitigating barriers to military spouse employment, and participating in the governor's challenge to prevent suicide among service members, veterans, and their families. Please join me in extending a very warm welcome to Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear.
Well, thank you, Commander, for that introduction, and I could not be more proud to look out and see thousands of American heroes in Louisville, Kentucky. Happy 125th VFW Conference. I recognize that we are land of the free because of the brave. I am a grandson on one side of a Baptist preacher and on the other side of a World War II veteran. So I give thanks to God, and I give thanks to you. I recognize that every opportunity that we have in this country, every opportunity that our kids, that my kids have, is because of the service and the sacrifice of our veterans since the inception of this great nation. Our job is to repay your service by treating our veterans better every single day and creating more opportunities for your kids and your grandkids than we ever could have imagined. I am so proud of Kentucky's Department of Veteran Affairs, which has now won our 4th straight Abraham Lincoln Pillars of Excellence Award, meaning we provide some of the best customer service for our veterans in the entire country. I'm proud of how we serve our veterans that need the most help. All of our long-term care facilities are either 4 or 5-star rated, 5 being the very highest, and the commander just said it. After 10 years of trying, we are finally building another veterans nursing home in Bowling Green, the Spiller Center. It was a long time coming, but we are going to serve our veterans in that community. And in Kentucky, I am so excited about what we have coming for your kids and for your grandkids. See, we are building the biggest, best economy in our history. Since I've become governor, over 1,000 new location and expansion projects. We've broken every record for private sector investment, new jobs, best 2-year wages, broken the record for exports, broken the record for tourism. We're building the 2 biggest battery plants on planet Earth, 5,000 jobs, and they are prioritizing hiring our veterans for those jobs. But my promise to you here today, and it's something that's been weighing on my heart, is that I promise you I will never politicize your service, nor do I think that the United States ever should. It became very personal to me after the attack on Tower 22. The attack on Tower 22 was an attack on our nation. It took the lives of 3 service members in Georgia. What most people didn't know is the Kentucky National Guard was at and was leading the mission at Tower 22. And I still remember getting that call, turning on the TV, and seeing an office holder in Washington, D.C. The first thing they did was use it to attack somebody in the other party. They didn't say we're praying for the families of those 3 service members that were lost. They didn't say this was an attack on our country and we should all come together. Because when people attack the United States, we stand up as one people and push back. We have got to get back to a place where we are Americans first and Democrats and Republicans second. And I recognize through my service that the things that people worry about most when they wake up in the morning aren't political at all. They're not thinking about polls. They're not thinking about parties. They're thinking about their job and whether they make enough to support their family. They're thinking about their next doctor's appointment. And I am proud here in Louisville, we are working on a $600 million VA project. It'll be the newest and best hospital available to our veterans. People think about the roads and the bridges they drive. There was a little bit of traffic coming in this morning, but I know whose fault that is. They're thinking about the public safety in their community. They're thinking about the schools they drop their kids off at. I think we govern best when we don't try to move a country to the right or the left, but we try to move it forward for all of our people. It is our veterans that have helped bring us together time and time again, helped us remember who we are by the example that you set. You set an example of freedom, where everyone would have the opportunity to pursue their dreams in this great state, in this great country. I am grateful for your service. I am grateful for your sacrifice, but I am also grateful for your leadership. And at a time when things seem to be boiling in this country, when some neighbors yell at other neighbors just because a registration box they checked when they were 18 years old, we need your continued leadership to say there are real enemies out there. Our enemy is not each other. And it is our job in this difficult and dangerous world to stand as one country, to show the rest of the world that the United States is the greatest nation that has ever existed, and we will continue to be a leader on this world stage. Welcome to Kentucky. Thank you all very much.
Next, we have a special guest from right here, the great state of Kentucky, an accomplished eye surgeon. He was elected to the United States Senate in 2010, where he serves as the ranking member on the Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs, in addition to his assignments on the Foreign Relations Committee, Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee, and Small Business and Entrepreneurship Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Senator Rand Paul.
Good morning, VFW. Commander Sarmiento, thank you for the invitation and the introduction. It's an honor to be here with you, along with so many heroes of this country and this organization. We all know that the VFW has worked tirelessly to ensure that those who have fought are represented when they return. My family's association with serving in uniform runs deep. My father was a captain in the Air Force. My father-in-law was a retired non-commissioned officer in the Air Force. As a child, my wife, Kelly, lived at various military bases around the world. My brother-in-law went to the U.S. Air Force Academy. Sorry, we're kind of Air Force heavy in our family. My nephew, though, just retired after 20 years flying the P-3 for the Navy. My team has significant military ties as well. 2 of my staff are combat veterans and are members of your organization. Several people on my team have siblings and children who are currently serving our country in uniform today. My staff and I see taking care of veterans as a vital mission and, frankly, our obligation to those who fought. I also consider that mission directly aligned with another, ensuring our country is strategic in its foreign policy. Indeed, I cannot imagine a more fitting occasion or group to understand, appreciate, and herald our country's position on the world stage and its foreign policy approach than the heroes of our foreign wars, those who have actually fought on foreign soil. To me, there is no more important debate, no more important vote than a vote on whether or not to send our young men and women to war. I do not take this responsibility lightly. When war is debated, I carefully weigh the arguments for war against the risks to each and every soldier. I don't see war as some grand game of chess. My views are best summarized by Eisenhower, who wrote, "I hate war as only a soldier who has lived it can, only as one who has seen its brutality, its futility, its stupidity." Since the attacks on 9/11, Congress seems to have forgotten Eisenhower's admonition. Congress has simply abdicated its role in declaring war and left the decision-making to the president. Congress has allowed a vote in 2001, a vote I would have supported, a generation ago, though, to be used to take our soldiers into combat across Africa and the Middle East, despite no authorization from a current Congress, despite no vote on whether we should be there. We now have more combat missions in Africa than any place in the world. Because of my steadfast belief that the Constitution only allows Congress to declare war, I often stand alone. I am sometimes a minority of one. But I promise you this: war is too grave a choice for Congress to run from or evade. I, for one, will not avoid or shirk my duty. I pledge to you, veterans of foreign wars, I will vote against any president of either party who tries to send our soldiers abroad without a declaration of war. Our nation was founded on a restrained foreign policy. Indeed, our first president pushed for trade and friendship with all, alliances in war with none, or as few as possible. We drifted from this throughout the latter half of the 20th century, culminating with Vietnam. Traditionally, American foreign policy was restrained, reserving military force as a last resort. It was a restrained realism in foreign policy that brought down the Iron Curtain, but avoided World War III. But our traditional restrained foreign policy has slowly been replaced by a desire to be everywhere all the time, by a belief that military intervention is always the answer. As a consequence, America has become mired in multiple civil wars in a variety of locations with arguably limited national interests at stake. The authorization from 20 years ago to fight the perpetrators of 9/11 has nothing to do with having our military chasing down goat herders in Mali. Yet 4 of our finest young soldiers died there in an undeclared war with a murky mission in sub-Saharan Africa. Since World War II, Congress has allowed presidents to take us to war without the approval of Congress. Feckless leaders in Congress have allowed presidents to transform a mandate to eliminate those who attacked us on 9/11 to a limitless, unfocused presence in dozens of countries. The war in Afghanistan shows a congressionally approved, justified war against the 9/11 attackers somehow morphed into a 20-year, trillion-dollar debacle with no clear mission. The ignominious retreat from Afghanistan shows how weakness begets calamity and then overreaction. The catastrophic decision to have our final exit point be a civilian airport in a crowded urban area instead of the isolated and defensible Bagram Air Base led to the tragic deaths of 13 of our troops. In the aftermath, a weakened Biden administration overreacted and sent a lethal drone that killed an aid worker and a dozen children. Instead of peace through strength, the result was carnage from weakness. As we contemplate and as we elect a new president, we should replace weakness with strength. As the long war in Afghanistan was coming to a close, the world was busy changing. Civil wars of limited focus and limited consequence are being eclipsed by a great power conflict with the looming risk of disastrous outcomes. Our threats have shifted from loose transnational terrorist organizations to hostile alliances with significant military power. North Korean ammunition is being used by Russian soldiers supplied by Chinese technology that enable Iranian weapons. The battlefield has also changed. The lethality of individual weapons has made wars of maneuver into wars of attrition. When 10 Ukrainian leg infantry soldiers with Javelin anti-tank weapons can stop an entire Russian battalion tactical group, you end up fighting in trenches with an unsustainable need for artillery shells. Yes, things have changed. Shifting alliances and the face of war have dramatically changed, but our foreign policy has not. American foreign policy has clung to intervention, which may ultimately be yielding more war than peace. The world has become more challenging since 9/11. It is time we evolve our strategies to better meet those challenges. Through our interventionist strategy, we have lost the ability to critically think about our foreign and national security policy. Many in Congress seem to have forgotten that to achieve peace through strength requires diplomacy. Instead, both parties have tried to solve all of our international problems with sanctions, threats of violence, and the actual use of force. Yet American sanctions have not changed the actions of our adversaries. I've repeatedly asked the Secretary of State to identify what, if any, changes Russia or China has initiated because of sanctions. I'm still waiting for an answer. What American sanctions do accomplish, though, is to isolate large portions of the world from our trade. This form of trade isolationism threatens to make war more imminent. Whilst we must be prepared to defend our country and our interest without hesitation, we cannot forget that war must always be a last resort. The bayonet cannot be our first choice of diplomatic engagement. The potential cost of war today is simply too high. Today, our chief adversaries have the capability to destroy our way of life as we do theirs. The consequences of a great power conflict between a Western alliance and Russia or China would be devastating. We would feel those effects in all aspects of our life. Our commerce, our freedoms, our day-to-day existence would be impacted more than at any time in our history. As a measure of last resort, war must be squarely centered on a vital national interest that is clear to the American people. Once that vital national interest is identified, we must craft a viable strategy to reach an achievable goal that is materially and economically sustainable, with a clearly defined end state. The purpose of war is to make a better peace, not to perpetuate further war. Most importantly, we must hold sacred the principles of our founding fathers, which espouse that no one leader may take our country to war. Rather, for the nation to be willing to risk its sons and daughters, its blood, its treasure, war can only be waged with the consent of the people. That required consent is derived from acts of Congress, from the Constitution. Only Congress has the power to declare war. My pledge to you is this: to continue to push to return the traditional American form of restrained realism, that these principles, war as a last resort, used only to defend a clearly identified national interest through a viable strategy to achieve a sustained end state, and even then, only with the consent of the people. If and when we must fight, however, America needs a military clear-sighted and not distracted by woke ideology. As Churchill reportedly said, people sleep peacefully in their beds at night only because rough men stand ready to do violence on their behalf. Churchill would be shocked to know that the American military that saved the day during World War II now pays for confused individuals to surgically change their sexual appearance. America still needs rough men and women for our defense. Instead of spending $500,000 taxpayer dollars to remove the manhood of soldiers, let us today demand that that money be spent on the salaries of the rough men and women defending America. Defending America means not letting our military mission be overridden by left-wing agenda unrelated to military readiness. With a $34 trillion debt, our foreign policy needs to re-examine all foreign aid. As a consequence of being everywhere all the time, American aid flows not only to dependent allies, but to countries that have the audacity to burn our flag. I promise you this: I will never, ever vote to send one penny of aid to foreign countries that hate us and burn our flag. Those who suggest that we need to be everywhere all of the time will also do the most to ensure perpetual conflict. They throw out historical examples claiming that we're once again in 1938 as we see the Russians invade Ukraine. My fear is that we're actually once again in 1914 and that escalation draws us sleepwalking closer to a nuclear confrontation. Prior to World War I, the nations of Europe lacked the diplomatic intellect to avoid a calamity that killed millions of people in the horror of the trenches on the Western Front and saw the rise of a communist empire in the East. How different would the world have been had the diplomats of 1914 been better thinkers and the leaders more restrained? Was the honor of Serbia a vital interest to Tsarist Russia or to Imperial Germany? As we consider history lessons, let us remember that the governments who drew the world into the Great War, into World War I, over something that wasn't a threat to their vital interest, Tsarist Russia, Imperial Germany, Imperial Austria, all were gone by the war's conclusion. President Eisenhower said, "I have one yardstick by which I test every major problem, and that yardstick is it good for America?" Ike unashamedly placed American vital national interest at the forefront of his thought. These philosophies must be our guiding light, which brings me back to those of you who have served to defend our country, our Constitution, our way of life. To best fulfill our leading role in the world stage, we should follow your example. You wore the uniform to protect your country, your families, and to secure a more peaceful future for your descendants. You didn't risk your life for a foreign flag. You fought for the American flag, for your family and for the American in the foxhole next to you. We owe you a debt of gratitude, but I ask more of you. I ask you to remind everyone what it means to be American. Remind us that we can work together, regardless of our backgrounds, our skin color, our religion, our political beliefs. We can work together. Remind us that we owe our allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the liberties which it guarantees our people, liberties which were given to us by our Creator. Veterans of foreign wars, let your voices be heard and remind Americans that we should not go lightly into war. We face many problems here at home. We face a crisis at our southern border. Before we send a single soldier overseas to secure other countries' borders, Congress needs to fix our borders here at home. The strength of America is our spirit, not at the end of our rifles. Our way of life, our belief in liberty, our unshakable trust that our rights come from a creator, not a government. This is what gives us the power to be a great nation. Let us live by that example. Let us set that example. Let the world follow. It has truly been my honor to be here today. Thank you. And may God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America.
Comrade. We now have a video greeting from U.S. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell from the great state of Kentucky. Please turn your attention to the big screen.
Hello, I'm Senator Mitch McConnell. Welcome to Kentucky. It's a privilege to join all of you as you gather for VFW's 125th National Convention in my hometown of Louisville. As a son of a World War II veteran, this organization has always held a special place in my heart. My father, like millions of Americans, left his home to serve his country and help defend the world from tyranny. Just as back then, our freedom and peace today are secured by the sacrifices of our service members, by generations of men and women devoted to defending our country and our way of life, from the First and Second World Wars to Korea and Vietnam to the Persian Gulf and the war on terror in Afghanistan and Iraq. You all have carried on America's honorable tradition of service, bravery, and love of country. As Americans, we have a sacred obligation to honor all those who have answered our nation's call to serve, to care for those who were injured, and to remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice. On behalf of a grateful nation, thank you for your service, and thank you to the VFW for all you do to uplift and honor our nation's heroes. God bless you, and God bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, our friends at Humana are no strangers to helping veterans. Whether it's expanding social programs to help veterans fight isolation, combating food insecurity to help ensure veteran and military families have access to healthy food, or advocating for increased and expanded access to the highest quality health care available, they've shown time and time again their commitment to veterans and their families. From hiring more than 6,000 veterans and their spouses into the workforce, to creating military health and resilience initiative to address health-related social needs of the military